again seems to be resurrected in Indian politics. Mughal Emperor and Tyrant Aurangzeb is back in the news yet again over 300 years after his death. Some political leaders again are granting him a certificate of secularism, of bravery, and basically being an all-round good guy. It's especially jarring that the statement came from an MLA in Maharashtra, given that Aurangzeb is reviled in the state as a man who tortured and killed Maratha legend and hero Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. It's doubly jarring that the statement was made by Abu Azmi, who represents Samajwadi Party from a seat in Mumbai that's named, wait for it, Mankhurd Shivaji Nagar. I mean, you have to have a really weak understanding of irony or a twisted sense of humor to represent a place named after Shivaji and then go on to defend the man who tortured and murdered Shivaji's son. Anyhow, for all of his troubles, now Azmi has invited the wrath of the Shiv Sena, NCP and BJP. 2 police complaints have been filed against him in the state for promoting enmity between communities, and Deputy CM Eknath Shinde has even demanded that he be booked for sedition. But it's important to examine Azmi's defense of the Mughal tyrant. What was the logic given? For reasons best known to him, Abu Azmi decided to paint Aurangzeb as someone who basically fought wars and killed people for power and territory, but otherwise also performed charity. He's basically good at heart. Abu Azmi also reminded people that Aurangzeb was a just and successful ruler who turned India into a golden bird, a Sone ki chidiya of the East, and that's why he's been very unfairly represented in history. But most important were the assertions made by Abu Azmi that all of Aurangzeb's actions were driven only by a martial impulse. He just wanted to capture territory, to expand his kingdom. There was absolutely no religious impulse. As the anger against these comments rose, he got support from his party colleague and Faizabad MP Avdesh Prasad. Avdesh Prasad said that Eknath Shinde is accusing Azmi of spreading hatred only because he himself has no sense of history. So, first let's listen in to exactly what Abu Azmi said, and then we will examine his claims.
नहीं सब गलत हिस्ट्री दिखाई जा रही है। औरंगजेब रहमतुल्लाह अलैह ने बहुत सारी मंदिरें बनवाई हैं, और आप बनारस में जाकर देखेंगे एक बच्ची, पंडित की बच्ची को जब उनका ही एक सिपाही सालार उसके साथ शादी करना चाहता था, उन्होंने उस सिपाही सालार को 2 हाथियों के बीच पैर बांध कर वो मार दिया, और उन पंडितों ने उनके लिए एक मस्जिद बना के दिया वहाँ पर। क्या बात करते हैं, ये गलत हिस्ट्री।
तो आप औरंगजेब को क्रूर शासक नहीं मानते हैं?
नहीं, मैं नहीं मानता।
औरंगजेब क्रूर शासक नहीं?
बिल्कुल नहीं, मैं बिल्कुल क्रूर शासक नहीं मानता।
लेकिन मेरा कहना ये कि राजा लोग सत्ता और संपत्ति के लिए संघर्ष करते थे। उनका वो धर्म के नाम पे उनका कोई काम नहीं था कि धर्म हिंदू करो मुस्लिम करो। जिसने 52 साल तक हुकूमत किया हो, तो अगर ज़बरदस्ती हिंदुओं को मुसलमान बनाना चाहता हो तो भारतवर्ष में कितने हिंदू मुसलमान बन जाते।
अबू हासिम का कोई ऐसा बयान नहीं रहा है जिसकी निंदा की जाए, और समाजवादी पार्टी तो हमेशा समाज को जोड़ने का काम करती है, और बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर के संविधान को बचाने का, और बाबा साहब भीमराव के सम्मान की हमेशा बात करती है। उसी परिप्रेक्ष्य में हमारे साथी, हमारी पार्टी के नेता ने जो टिप्पणी की है उसको ठीक से उप मुख्यमंत्री जो है नहीं समझ पाए, इसलिए वो इस तरह का अनर्गल बेबुनियादी बात कर रहे हैं। तो इतिहास समझना चाहिए।
Now, many people would have us believe that Aurangzeb wasn't a cruel man. I think very little needs to be explained there. Remember, it wasn't just Sambhaji that Aurangzeb had tortured and murdered, or that he ordered the execution of Guru Tegh Bahadur or of the 2 younger Sahibzadas. The man literally captured and executed 2 of his own brothers in order to get the throne. And then for good measure, he put his father Shah Jahan under house arrest until his death 7.5 years later in 1666. Now let's look at the claim that any killing, looting and butchering that Aurangzeb did was not driven by an Islamic drive to finish off Hinduism from India. Here is what has been written in the Akhbarat of Aurangzeb's court, literally the court documents that Aurangzeb himself had written. The Akhbarat of Aurangzeb's court describes in detail how temples were broken and what was the message sent out through those acts. On the 25th of May, 1679, it is written, Khan-e-Jahan Bahadur returned from Jodhpur after demolishing its temples and bringing with him several cart loads of idols. The emperor ordered that the idols should be cast in the quadrangle of the court and under the steps of the Jama Masjid for being trodden upon. In January and February of 1680, the grand temple in front of the Maharana's mansion at Udaipur, which had cost the infidels much money, was destroyed and its images were broken. On the 24th of January, the emperor went to view the lake Uday Sagar and ordered all 3 temples on its banks to be pulled down. On the 29th of January, Hasan Ali Khan reported that 172 other temples in Udaipur had been demolished. On the 22nd of February, the emperor went to look at Chittor, and by his order, 63 temples of the place were destroyed. Then, come to the 10th of August, 1680, Abu Turab returned to court and reported that he had pulled down 66 temples in Amer. On the 2nd of August, 1680, the temple of Someshwar in western Mewar was ordered to be destroyed. In September 1687, on the capture of Golconda, the emperor appointed Abdur Rahim Khan as the censor of the city and gave him orders to put down infidel practices, destroy the temples, and build mosques on their sites. In the middle of 1698, Hamid-ud-Din Khan Bahadur had specifically been deputed to destroy the temple of Bijapur and build a mosque in its place. He returned to court after carrying out the order and was praised by the emperor. These are all things that Aurangzeb has recorded were done on his orders. So far from what Abu Azmi is claiming, there was a concerted campaign by Aurangzeb, by his kingdom, to attack and destroy Hindu places of worship, and it just wasn't a byproduct of his otherwise benevolent military campaign. And nothing exemplifies this better than what happened on the 1st of January in 1705. Aurangzeb's court records show that he summoned Muhammad Khalil and Khidmat Rai, 2 of his hatchetmen, and then ordered them to demolish the temple of Pandharpur, to take butchers at the spot where the temple stood, and slaughter cows on the spot. It was done. Look, many people argue that dredging up history is at best a distraction from problems of the present. Sure, let's buy that argument. But then that also leads one to ask, why do politicians like Abu Azmi, Avdesh Prasad, Akbaruddin Owaisi, Imran Pratapgarhi decide to bring back Aurangzeb from the dead every now and then? What compels them from issuing non-factual certificates of good behavior and secularism to a tyrant who made absolutely no bones about what his intent was? He wanted to turn India into a theocratic state, to impose Islam on it, and anyone who resisted was killed off. And just who do these politicians, and that remains the critical question, who do these politicians hope to please with this brand of politics, where a bloody history is whitewashed and a tyrant and a bigot is shown as a benevolent and a just ruler?